Find yourself a booth, order up a cold one. This is the Spring Bar.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Spring Bar. Glad to have you here. My name is Florida Mike. Today with my co-host Joe in the OC. Joe, how you doing today?
I am out of school, sir. It is summer. We're on summer break, and we are
right.
KC-less again. He is in the two weeks over the summer out of his 1 weekend a month, and then 2 weeks out of the summer for his National Guard.
Oh yeah, it was more than that.
There's a lot more than that.
He's gonna be out for a while. We still got a couple more episodes without him, I think.
I think so.
Yeah.
It's hard to get in touch with him and communicate, which is, it's not frustrating, but it's interesting to realize that even in today's sort of modern age, that he's a little too busy doing important stuff to.
I wonder if he still has a phone.
Oh, if it's gotten blown up or not?
Yeah.
These are good questions.
Maybe that's why
that's a solid question. I mean, it has
based on what happened last time.
Based on past experience.
I'm not being ridiculous. It actually,
no, you're not.
It's a true thing.
No, it could be an issue. Anyway, we'll update you on his status as soon as he updates us on his status.
Yes. Oh, speaking of updating statuses.
Okay.
Remember last episode we did the if you want to see Joe in his lookalike with his dog photo, that we need somebody to tag themselves in a pet lookalike photo. Well, guess what? We got one.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about this now, and it's going to go up by the time you're listening to this episode. It will have been out for at least a week. I guess we have to live up to our promise. We're going to have to post that. Once we're done doing this, I'll get on and put up your, I should say.
Yeah.
Your lookalike. It's fantastic.
Oh, I hate that dog. I don't like that dog. That's my wife's dog. Let's be very clear.
Well, you look just like him though. Like
I do a pretty good impression of that dog.
I don't know if you were impersonating him or he was impersonating you. Either way, came out
well.
Real well.
So my wife will take him to the groomers, and the groomer will be like, "Well, what do you want him to look like?" Because she points at me. So.
Right as I was drinking.
Oh, hang on a second. Let me see if I can. So, right, we talked about having the new dog.
Mm.
Well, and the new dog has bonded with my wife. Ruka, good girl. I'll share with you where she is right now. She's currently perched on the table at the windowsill and is staring longingly out the window, waiting for my wife to return. So,
okay,
yeah, it'll be a thing.
Good dog.
Good dog.
So, what do you got that's new?
Well, other than summer break.
I mean, watches, Joe.
Oh, well, watches. What new watches? I have new watches.
Watches. You have watches. I have watches.
I have new watches.
As do I.
I do. So this was an odd week because I think. Oh yeah, I'm trying to remember the order that it even went in. So first one that showed up was this, right?
Yeah.
It's another one of these weird little Caravelle 666 dress diver. There's no dive bezel on it. It's like a 35 millimeter watch. It's got 19 millimeter lugs. They're just freaking weird, man. Seems to be like a 1966 or 1967, but the case back is just absolutely and utterly bizarre. It's like, a two-piece case back.
Mm-hmm.
They're so
like Caravel's answer to the Canadian oceanographer dress gold 666 thing.
Maybe that, but they're weird, man. They're weird. And so, friend of the show, right? Oliver picked one up that was stupid cheap, like $80, maybe less. His is different than mine. This one's got 25 joules, Caravel 25 joules, automatic, super waterproof, 666 feet. That's on the dial in that order. His is a 17 joule movement and doesn't have 25 joules on it. And the font is a little bit different. And so it's kind of strange. It's like, okay, great. So now there's another variant that no one else knows about.
Another rabbit hole to go down.
Fantastic.
So the one that you got there matches the first one that you have, right?
It matches the other one that I have.
They're identical.
This one's got the color on the dial, and the dial's turned kind of this champagne, which we're having a debate whether or not that's water damage or patina or something else.
I say it's water damage. It looks water.
I'd be curious though, because because of the way that the case back is, I can't crack the back. I don't have a tool that I can crack the back with. So I haven't been able to see if the movement is damaged at all. Right? Because you think there would be. If there's water damage to the dial, there should be some damage to the movement. But it keeps good time.
But does it run?
Yeah, runs and sets and
wine sets and everything. It's loose.
Yeah. That's great.
It's probably okay. It probably was water damage and it had gotten fixed at some point.
I don't know. I mean, the handset is different. So it seems like at least somebody threw a different set of hands on it, and that they've made the hands sort of a gold tone to match the patina. And so, that I ordered this one. This one was out of the UK. Forget where Oliver got his. I don't think it was US though.
So what did you buy that one for? Just because?
Impulse buy?
Okay.
Well, because I know that the black dial comes in the same case, same movement, same case. And in the event that I ever find a black dial, I'd have something to swap it into.
Okay.
Right? Have it extra, have parts, whatever you need. Except then
what, Joe? What happened?
Well, then this black dial showed up.
You found the black dial.
Just like that from a guy on Instagram that I know and that I've bought from before.
Didn't I find the black dial? And I sent it to you real quick. I was like, he says he's going to sell it.
You sent it, but I think I saw it. I think I saw it prior. I'm not sure.
Well,
but
we knew he had it. We knew he had it. And then he made a post and it was like, maybe this will end up for sale soon. So I sent it to you. I'm like, you might want to talk to him before it ends up for sale.
Yeah, I think I'd already seen it right by the time you sent it to me, and I'd already messaged him. It's like, well, and so there was a sort of a silent bidding war that went on. He said he had somebody that was interested, and so I upped his asking price, and lo and behold,
there you go.
So yeah, it worked out. It was nice. So that's what I got. There's some other stuff that's on the way in, but it's not here yet, so I can't really talk about it.
Yeah, per the rules.
Those are the rules.
So I have something new. I don't remember if we talked about this before or not. The last episode, I don't remember. I was talking about bidding on some stuff, and there was a watch. I don't even remember what it was that I tried to bid on. I lost out on it, and I thought, well, I have a backup watch. If I don't win that one, I'm going to try this one. And it was a real cool, funky Caravel. When you look,
that yellow dial sucker.
It looked like it had like a yellow bullseye ring on the dial, and it had the cool. But I like the day discs that have the number of the week. Then it says the day, and then it has the date.
I don't like that.
You don't like that? I like that. I think it's a cool little touch.
I don't care what week it is.
Well, it's not a week. It's the day of the week. So like Monday would be the first day. So Monday would be 1. Tuesday would be 2. So on and so forth.
Why would you have that?
I don't know.
Are you assuming I don't know what Monday is?
But it's cool. It's different because some watches have it, some don't.
You set it independently, or is it just an extra?
No.
So it's a longer
No,
Day.
it's the
Yes.
same width, same size, but the three letters for the day, like MON, are a little narrower to accommodate the number being on the left of it.
Yeah, that's dumb.
It's not dumb. It's cool because,
Sorry,
well,
but I know that Monday is
herein lies the problem. Some people consider Monday the first day of the week. Some people consider Sunday the first day of the week.
yeah, that's dumb too.
But according to Caravel, Monday is the first day of the week.
And Sunday is the 7th.
Sunday is the diamond day. It's like the Oris Kermit. On the first of the month, Kermit shows up.
Uh-huh.
Okay, once a week, you get a little diamond on your dial. Pretty cool. Like
Uh-huh.
today's Sunday. I have a diamond on here. Anyways, here's the watch. Here's the thing. I'm excited to buy this because when you're looking at the pictures, it looks bad. It looks worn. It's patinaed. The dial is kind of flaking a little bit, but it was yellow. It was very cool. It was very bright yellowy, had a bright yellow gold crown on it. I'm like, that's different. Okay, I'll buy it. So I bought it. It comes. It's gold. It's not yellow. It's
Yeah.
gold. Ah, crap. Now what? But it's different. It's funky. It's not in the line books. I tried looking for it. I'm not sure if this even is a Caravel case because this has a different case back.
You showed me the case back. I'm skeptical.
It says Candor, Swiss made, waterproof, calendar, stainless steel back. It is a chrome plated case. If you screw down the case back all the way, it presses on something, and I have yet to figure out what it presses on that stops the movement from running. You would think it would press on the balance wheel. You would think it would press on the gear train. You would think it would press on something. It doesn't. It doesn't. There's plenty of clearance. Somehow, some way, when you screw this case back all the way, it puts pressure on something and it stops the watch from running. Couldn't tell you. So I just don't screw it down all the way. And I had to remove the rotor too, because the rotor hits the case back.
Well,
So it's a rotorless, not fully seated. Definitely don't wear it in the rain. Caravel that I paid too much for what it really is.
good for you, man.
Yeah, I made a great choice on this one.
Were you drunk?
No, I wasn't. But you know what the problem was?
You weren't drunk?
Is I haven't bought anything since January. Remember at the beginning of the year, I bought
Are you okay?
5
Are you
watches.
feeling all right?
No, I know. This is what I'm
Is
saying.
there a problem? I mean, who
Remember
hurt you,
I bought
Mike?
all those watches in the beginning, like the first couple of days of the year. I bought
You
5
did.
watches.
Yeah.
And then I haven't bought anything since then.
Yeah.
Because, there's been a lot going on. We moved and the birthday party and the family in town and all that kind of stuff. And the money was just going elsewhere. So I've tried to discipline myself in not buying watches, which really is not fun when you're a watch collector. You've seen everybody else get stuff. And I'm like, meh, I'm just over here in a dark corner playing with myself. So I found a few
That's
of
a
these listings.
whole different episode.
I'm all by myself. No one was looking. I was all by myself. Now, if somebody gets that reference, good on you. Found this watch. It was cheap. I think it was me and one other bid, and I paid like $100 for it, 110 all in taxes and shipping and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, okay, that's not bad. So then I sold the watch so that I had money. Oh, okay. So I bought something else, which I bought something new. I bought a new watch, not a new to me watch, a brand new model, pre-order, hasn't even been shipped yet. Watch.
So they're still growing it. It's still in the oven. It's being baked.
It's in its infancy.
Okay.
Hasn't quite fully matured yet.
Hasn't left the nest.
Not yet.
All right.
It's supposed to ship this month. It doesn't say when this month. It just says June 23. So we'll see. Hopefully I get an email soon. We'll talk about that one later, I guess. And then we know Gad Hiker is having a fire sale right now. He's selling all his stuff. Not all his stuff, but a lot of his stuff. And he's got some cool stuff.
He's got some really interesting pieces. Yeah, he does.
He's got some cool stuff. And I bought a watch from him at a really good price. And he sent it out. And then a couple days later, he had more stuff up for sale. And I saw something else that I really wanted. And I said, ooh, I want that too. And here's the thing. So before I get started, the theme of today's episode is story time. We're not talking anything in particular. We're shooting the shit. We're telling stories. We're just having fun. We're not trying to rack our brains, bringing knowledge and all that kind of stuff. We're just having a chill day today. So here's a little story about how I bought this watch from Greg. He put a post up with a bunch of pictures that you're scrolling through, and he says, these will be listed soon. If you see anything you like, DM me, we can talk. Okay, fine. So there's a watch there that I have been after for quite some time. It's a chrome plated watch, and trying to find one that's not all scratched up is really hard. These don't come up very often. I knew he had this one, but I forgot about it until it posted up on there. So then I messaged him. I said,
that red dial, that maroon dial.
It's the red dial. It's a Caravel trawler UFO case. The one he's got is completely original, the original bracelet. I wouldn't say without seeing it that it's NOS, but it's really, really nice condition. They come up for sale very few and far between.
Not in that kind of shape either.
Not in that kind of shape, yeah. Real hard to find one that's not all beat up.
It's got that. It has that really cool UFO case as well. You know, when you're talking about, if you're talking about the weirdness that happened in the mid 70s, because that's just exactly what that watch is. It screams.
It's a perfect representation of it.
I agree.
Yeah.
And it's like, so almost a more low color. It's got white markers.
White markers, white hands. I mean, the hands look perfect. The dial is perfect. Everything on that is just perfect.
Yeah.
So I'm real excited about it. So he popped it up, and I said, well, shit, how much do you want for this one? Because I literally just 2 days before bought the other watch. And he says, I don't know, make me an offer. No, I don't want to do that. I said, there's no comps right now. I can't really price it out. It's been a long time since I've seen one for sale. I don't remember what it sold for. I don't want to make you an offer, because if I make an offer, I'm probably not going to buy it anyway. So then I feel bad making you an offer to begin with. I said, right, I'd rather be suckered into it by your asking price. And that's exactly what I told him. So he says, well, there's a guy that messaged me. He wanted it as part of a multi-watch deal, purchase price, blah, blah. He says, let me talk to him, see if he really wants it. If not, I'll let you know. Okay, not a problem. I don't know, hour or two goes by. He says, hey, how about this price? Done. Because I got suckered into it. That's what I wanted.
In?
I wanted him to come at me with a price.
I think you were fair. I think it's fair.
I think it's more than fair. I think it was bought very, very well.
I agree.
I think it was bought very well.
You did good. You did good on that one.
So I have that one coming. I have the watch that I bought for him prior coming, and I have the new watch that is still being incubated coming. And this guy right here. So that's 4 watches now that I've bought in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
3 weeks, something like that.
So I'm
back on the high of buying again.
You're back at it.
Back at it. But now I've spent more. So the watch that I sold,
yeah, the
deep sea chronograph.
Yes.
Got rid of that.
The one you didn't like the bezel on.
Didn't like. Here's the timeline. This is what happened. You got your deep sea chronograph.
Yeah.
You got your bezel.
Yeah.
I found a cheap running deep sea chronograph.
Yeah.
Right after you found your bezel. So I bought it thinking, well, you found yours very easily. How hard
won't be a problem.
Find another one. I had that watch for a year. In fact, it was funny because when I sold the watch, I told the guy, I says, Just buy me out of it. I'll look up what I paid for it. You pay me that. You can have it. I'm not going to make any profit on you. He's a good friend of ours.
Right.
So I looked it up on eBay. I sold it to him 1 day shy of owning that watch for 1 year.
Did you really?
I did. Yeah. I've owned that watch for 364 days. Could not find a bezel for it to save my soul. I had
That's so
asked
funny.
people. I put up ads looking for one. I've scoured
Okay, well,
the internet
let me ask you.
forums.
So have you shipped it to him yet? Has it shipped?
So here's the thing. It is shipped. However,
Okay.
it's going to you. Okay.
Right. Okay. But so he does this is my point. This is my point. He doesn't have it because I'm taking care of some stuff with that.
Yeah.
I bet you, I
One
will
pops
bet you
up.
dollars to donuts that as soon as he gets it and unwraps it, has it, that there's going to be a bezel that pops up.
One's going to pop up for sure.
Immediately. 2 weeks.
So
within 2 weeks. That's my bet.
Here's the thing. The chronograph, the bezels in this watch, right? The chronograph hands that came on the watch were incorrect.
Right.
The subdial ones were different, and the central seconds hand was white. So there is a big chronograph collector. He likes to collect the same cased watches that shares with the deep sea case, right?
Yeah. So it's the same case manufacturer. It's probably the same dial manufacturer, and there's just different stampings on some of the dials.
Different manufacturers, different looking dials, different this and that. So,
but it's the same movement, typically the same handset.
Yeah, generally. Well, there are a couple of variants in the handset.
Yeah, but not much. Anyway.
Not much. But he's got a lot of these. He's got a lot of parts for these. He messaged me and he says, "Hey," he says, "I have the correct handset for that, the chronograph hands." He says, "If you want them, let me know. I'll sell them to you." Okay, fine. In the meantime, when you got your NOS bezel, you took off the bezel that was on your deep sea chronograph, which was nicer than the bezel that was on my deep sea chronograph.
Which is really saying something, because that bezel wasn't that nice.
That wasn't that nice. So you and I worked out a deal on that one. You sent it to me.
Yes.
I looked at it, and it really wasn't that much better than the one that I had. But the guy in England wanted it because he had a watch that would fit the patina and fadedness of that bezel. So he says, "Hey, if you don't want that bezel, I'll just trade you the bezel for the handset. Not a problem." So off to England it goes. He sends me the handset. So now I have the handset, the correct handset to go with the watch with a really bad bezel. And I was waiting to find a really nice bezel before I did the whole project. Like, I didn't want to do bits and pieces here and there. I just wanted to have everything together to do it all at once. The bezel never came. The handset never went on. The watch hardly got worn. So
didn't have the bracelet for it either.
Didn't have the bracelet either, but I had a NATO on it. It was on a nice NATO.
Okay. It's okay on a NATO, but it's weird with that one, because that's seriously a bracelet watch. It's the same thing as like the chronograph A, or the chronograph A, the surfboard, which also looks better on a bracelet. I don't know that the B had a bracelet. Like, most of the pictures I've ever seen of that one are always on some kind of strap,
like a
tropic typically, because it matches the dial.
Joe, if only there was some way that we could look at historical documents to see what that came on, right?
If only.
I guess we never thought to look it up to see what it actually originally came on.
I just don't remember, because there's so much.
I know, right? We got the line books, and it's almost like with great power comes great responsibility.
Well, it's the problem with the line books, though, is the lack of consistency that goes on within them, because the designations change from year to year. They go from the name of a model to a model number, and then they go to a different name. Some of the names don't make sense.
But when it comes to the chronographs, they're pretty standard, though.
They are, and then there was a limited run, and so they things went kind of smoothly and went through. So
yeah.
Well, hey, I got a story for you then.
Hold on, I'm not done yet.
Well, okay, well, hurry up. I got a story.
I'm still going. So, sold the watch. I said, "Hey, I have the correct handset. Do you want the correct handset? Because if not, I'm just going to sell them off." He says, "No, go ahead and put them on." All right. Opened it up, pulled the hands off, put the new ones on, something that I've done a million times before. Recase the whole thing, will not run, which is frustrating because that watch ran perfectly. Chronograph worked, it functioned, did everything that it was supposed to do.
Those Valjoux movements are bulletproof, you know.
Will not run. What the hell? So I open it back up. I'm looking. The problem is the balance wheel spins freely. It engages the pallet fork, but the escapement wheel will not turn. So I wonder if when I cracked open the case, a piece of gasket flaked off, dirt got in, something got itself lodged inside of that wheel, stopping it from
something.
running.
Because you're looking at it's the old gaskets. You've got the old loom.
Yeah,
it's a 50-year-old watch. I mean, come on.
Something had to have gotten in there.
Sure.
Because, like I say, I've done it a million times. I don't know. Who knows? So I messaged him. I said, hey, listen, here's the deal. Explained to him. I said, you have two choices. I can refund you your money, which I really don't want to do because I already spent it on watches at this point. or I've got stuff going out to be serviced. I can send this to, we get it taken care of. I'll cover it. Don't worry about it. Don't base your decision on it's going to cost more or anything like that. Just tell me what you want to do. He says, yeah, go ahead. I'm not worried about it. I don't need it in any specific amount of time. Let's just do it right. Okay, fine. So now it's on its way to you with some other watches that I'm finally having serviced, and they're going to go out to Dave. Dave's going to take care of this stuff for us. And
so that's an interesting bit that you're bringing up, because same gentleman purchased a watch from me, and we negotiated,
bought and sold stuff from each other.
Oh yeah. But this was the thing though, right? Because we negotiated. There was the price, and then he has a part for a watch that I bought from him. So he sent. So we had throw in the pusher. But he said to me, and I don't think his wife watches, so I think we're kind of safe. But it's our secret. He said, "Don't send it to me until this date. Has to be week of this." I'm like, all right, put an alarm in my phone. All right, okay, ship out at this point in time. I'm like, oh, okay, I got you.
Oh, so I didn't get a date.
Well,
I didn't get a ship date, but maybe
but I think
he
that's
was
because
okay with sending it out.
You did your deal before I did mine.
Oh, okay.
That's what I believe was the specifics, because I'm willing to bet that the money that I paid for the chronograph that I got from him went directly to you to pay.
Probably. Probably because everything was right around the same dollar.
It's all around the same time, and it's all around the same price as well, which I find really, really funny.
Yeah.
So let me share. So we're talking watches with stories, and I've got some stories. I've got stories about this watch in particular. This is the Canadian dialed railroad approved Accutron 218 with the 0 at the top and a 12 rather than a 1 and a 13.
Which, when you had posted up recently, I said, "Oh, you got a new watch," but you didn't.
No, I've had this one for a while, but this is the story that goes with it, right? This watch, I like the 0 dial because they're weird, they're different. You don't see them a whole lot, and this was a specific Canadian model 218. They're nice. I mean, it's a tool watch. It works really, really well. Sometimes you can find this dual hour hand, and one of them's painted red and the other one's painted black. And depending upon which way you put it, and so you can use it to track a different time zone depending on where you are. Like if your train route went over the timeline. Anyway, there's a lot of options for it, but it was unworking when I got it and opened up the back. It had a quartz movement, but it was a Bulova quartz movement. That means that this sucker had gone in for servicing to Bulova, who stripped out the tuning fork movement and put the quartz movement in.
So interesting that they did that kind of stuff.
Well, depending on when it went in for service, if it went in for service after 78, 70, 77, 78, when they were making that shift over to the movements. So that's what happened. I got it, and we got a donor movement and tried to take it back. The problem the problem was this: the quartz movement date disc was in a different spot, closer to the center pin, which means they had
didn't line up, huh?
Well, not just didn't line up, they had to trim the
Ooh.
inside edge of the, and we'll show a picture because I got a close up of it. So they had to trim it, and then they put a little piece of plastic on the outside. But when I swapped the movements back, we had to move the piece of plastic over to the other side so that it could come together. It's like, okay, that's kind of fun. It's interesting. But then the watch stopped working, and so I just had it serviced, and the service guy trimmed off the little piece of plastic so you can actually see what that was supposed to be covering up. And so that's the picture that we got. But that's not the whole end of the story. Here's the more interesting part of the story. So I've been trying to figure out what bracelets to put on those dress 666 watches, and I've got this bong clip, right? Bamboo bracelet, real popular, very comfortable. I mean, it's a classic bracelet though, right? You know, and they're jangly, and they adjust, and they do blah 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 blah. And depending on whose they are and who made them, like, they can be massively expensive, right?
So who's that one by?
Well, that's the thing. I got this one for 99 pence. It didn't even cost £1. Got it out of the UK. I think shipping was like $12. But still, it's like, all right, it's a vintage bong clip style bracelet for $13. I'm good. And so I showed it. I put a picture.
Brand name though?
Huh?
Any major brand name?
Well, I don't know. I just needed a bracelet that was going to work. It's an 18 millimeter. It's like, it's going to be fine. Right. 17 millimeter would have worked for what I want. I just wanted one of the style, and I'll find something to put it on. Right. Okay. So I got a picture of it up on another watch, and somebody's like, "Hey, what's that bracelet?" I'm like, I don't know. It's a $13 bracelet, man. And he's like, "Well, look for the markings on it. Look for it'll be in this spot and in this place and look like this." I'm like, okay. Took a picture of it, sent it to him. It's like, wow.
So what is it?
I have a Gay Ferris bong clip bracelet. Vintage.
Oh, look at that.
About $200. Bracelet's worth more than the watch is.
I don't know. Those Canadian Big Zero watches.
It's cool. The bracelet's worth way more than what I paid for the watch.
What you paid for it, yeah, I'm sure.
Right. Even with the service, but still, I'm like, okay. So I think I found a home for that one.
But that's a cool package though. The whole
it is. The whole thing works really well.
The whole thing works really well. Yeah. So talking about bracelets real quick, Dave, he had a Comfit, but he had the original.
That's right.
He had the original JB Champion Comfit, not one of these new Forstner ones.
Yeah.
And
the horned lugs too, right?
With the horned lugs. And it was the smaller one. So I think the max width is like 18.5 millimeters, something like that. But it's a spring loaded, end link, so you can shrink it down a little bit. And he's like, I don't really like it. It doesn't fit on anything. It doesn't look good on the stuff that I have it for. And I said, hey, if you want to sell it, let me know, because I'd really like to have one of those. So we talked, figured it out. He sent it. Problem was, so he's in Japan. It's coming to the United States. I hate sending stuff overseas or getting stuff from overseas because, as we all know, does not end well for me. So this gets lost in the mail. Like, oh man, the super rare original JB Champion horned end Comfit bracelet. Like, these are the holy grail bracelets. Gets lost in the mail. This thing is gone for weeks. He opened up an inquiry on it. Yeah. And then lo and behold, the thing shows back up on the tracking, having made its way into Florida. And it eventually made it to my door.
How long did it take? 2 weeks?
Oh gosh, no. It took, I think it was almost 2 months.
No,
it might have even been
really?
more than 2 months from when he sent it to when I received it. Like, it was lost for weeks on end.
You have got such a weird mail hole. in your area, man. They're like stuff doesn't.
But I don't know because it never showed like when stuff comes from overseas for me, it seems to go through the New York Customs Office. Doesn't matter where it comes from, it goes to New York. But it never showed that it hit the United States. It never showed that it hit the United States until it says it's in Florida. So somewhere from, I forget where it left in Japan, where the main export hub is out of there, was the last update, and then it just never got updated, and then all of a sudden it showed up at the post office.
Wow.
So I don't know.
Well, then
I don't
that
know where it was lost at or whatever. But and I messaged him. I'm like, man, I feel real bad because this is a piece of history, and I'm like, it's lost now, and we'll never see the light of day again. And so just kind of settled myself into never seeing this bracelet. But lo and behold, it show up, and tried it on a couple of things, but it lives on the Aerojet.
Yeah, and it looks good there too.
It looks
works
good, and I think it matches the aerospace theme, the bracelet and the watch and the whole thing, and it's a good look. So
I dig it.
Yeah.
I think you're doing all right. Hey,
huh.
What are you wearing and what are you drinking? We skipped that.
Oh crap, we skipped that, didn't we?
We'll go back.
I have if anybody else gets that reference, good on you. I'm wearing a Project Watch. I'm wearing a Jetstar E. This is not the E that's in my 10-piece collection. This is an extra. This is one that I bought to restore and sell off. Probably had this thing for close to a year too.
Yeah.
It just sat in pieces. The movement I had sent out to you had gotten serviced in California at the time. Came back. I found a new dial. Well, not a new dial for it, but a good dial, because the dial that this came on was all flaky.
Yeah, that leprosy dial, right?
Yep. So I had a good dial, put it on, got that all set, but never got around to doing the case. This weekend, actually, I've had some time. I started working on the case on this one. I put on a decent looking bracelet. It still needs to be, taken over the hump to make it look real nice, but it's coming together. So this one will be for sale soon.
All right.
Got some other stuff that I'm working on. I have a Stars and Stripes that is very, very, very close to being done. I have somebody who's expressed interest in that, so we'll see if he's willing to pay up to have a nicely restored, serviced Jetstar Stars and Stripes.
Well, hopefully by the time this airs, Michael will have recouped his investment.
Yeah. And then I'm still on the mojito kick. So it was my birthday recently, and I got a bartender set. So now I can make them properly. And they taste a whole lot better.
What do you have to do to properly make a mojito? You have to crush up the.
See, I didn't have a muddler for one.
Okay.
Now I do.
Okay.
I didn't have
your wooden spoon wasn't doing it for you?
Well, that's what I had to do. And no, it's not the proper way to do things, Joe. I didn't have a shaker, so my mojitos were stirred and not shaken.
Huh.
See, and that's a problem.
If you say so.
Now I have the tools to do it right.
Okay.
So what do you got, Joe? What's on your wrist?
I am wearing the Sea Devil. No, Sea Hunter. I get lost.
Sea Hunter. Oh yeah, it's the Sea Hunter.
All right, Alpha Hands Explorer dial. This one's got some patina to the dial. Read water damage, but it cleaned up really. Did you do this one?
I was just gonna say, is that the one that you sent to me? I think I did that.
I think it probably is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a good little piece.
Yeah,
I like it.
Bad.
I like it. It's not bad. I got it on a vintage style bracelet. So, like a flat link oyster. It's a nice little piece. It's running pretty well. Like I've been doing a solid colored bezel and black dial kick this week, recognizing the fact that I have a bunch of those.
Yeah.
That all say 666 on the dial too. I'm like, huh. Yeah. I think I have a type. So it works though. It works. And I'm drinking bourbon because I don't need a shaker
Not
or
for
a
bourbon, I
muddler.
guess. No.
I need a glass with bourbon in it, which I have,
Well, if simplicity works for you, Joe, then
and I will
that's
need more.
okay.
All right. Story time.
Ooh, yes, that's right. You sent some pictures.
I did.
pretty
So
interesting pictures.
yes, well, that's the story. So
Yeah.
this was my first foray into the oceanographer world specifically, because I'd seen the G, which is the black dial version, and I'm like, yeah, it's okay, but it's kind of like the same as every other dial, every other dive watch. It's a black dial with white markers, and yeah, right, the white markers are kind of cool, but the orange ones is like that's kind of cool. But at the time, they were listing for way more than I wanted to spend, so I didn't pay too much attention to it. And what I found shortly after I decided that was an interesting watch, I found a dial and a movement. Like, cool, dial and movement. Well, let's buy that and let's do something with it. And then I think a couple of days after that, a Oceanographer G case, new old stock case, showed up. And so I got both of those parts for massively cheap. It might have been like, $100 total, but no hands. And I think there was a crystal, but it was the G crystal. So that this is a day date, and that's just a date. So had to try to find a new crystal. Had to find a handset.
So the crystal you have on that now. Hold it up again.
And we got pictures in the.
Does that doesn't have a magnifier on it?
No magnifier, because it's the day date.
Yeah, but they had a day date magnifier.
Yeah, but not for the V.
Not for the V. The V didn't. Okay.
Didn't have it. Right.
All right.
So keep looking. And this started in I think 2014. To get this watch done took 4 years. It was a 4-year process. Magic Hands had this watch, it came back to him a couple of times, to be absolutely honest. So got it kind of together, gave him the parts, and we were talking about a handset and couldn't find the handset because remember, this is the Calypso handset. So I was trying to find, finally said, I was like, okay, we'll just put some black hands on it and it'll be all right. And then another Caravel with the same handset showed up. It's like, okay, cool. Bought that watch for cheap. Got it all together, put it together, and there it is. And you can see a picture here of my Frankenweenie. And then it was just ugly. God, it was ugly. Orange dial, Coke bezel.
Coke bezel, yeah.
Yeah, the red bezel. It's like, okay, well, how can I make it uglier? So I threw it on like a blue and yellow NATO. It was just garish. I mean, sometimes I throw it on a green NATO. It was god awful. And then maybe a year later, somebody sold a different watch. Handset was wrong, dial was wrong, but it was the Oceanographer V case, right? That black and white bezel, same case, with the better movement. And so the problems I was having with this watch, because it's a day date movement, but it was a date only case, the levels were off. So the feet on the dial had to be reset. The crown tube had to get removed so that the stem wouldn't rub, and it was a problem. It was a problem for a long time. Finally got that sorted, got it into the right case. All of those problems went away, and it was fantastic. And then a new old stock dial showed up, so swap that out. And now I've got, after it was a 4-year process to kind of get this sucker up and running, and then ended up with the right bracelet and the whole bit. And so this has just become a really, really solid vintage piece assembled from parts over multiple years.
But having done that and everything that you've purchased to get it to where it is as it sits right now,
yeah,
you still were able to do that for way less than you could ever buy one for.
Oh yeah, I've come in real cheap on what that is, and compared to what it's worth, And then you look at it for the condition that it's in, new old stock dial. The
Mhm.
bezel got 9 out of 10, maybe even 10 out of 10.
So the hands, are those still the Caravel hands?
No, it's the new old stock hands too. Because
Oh, no, okay.
it was one of those you know what I'm talking about. The dial
like
with the hands on it, but you got to pop out
Oh, it's one
because
of those.
the seconds hand has got the pin rather than the tube.
It's holding it all together, yeah.
Right. And you like those crop up for Bulova all the time. Like you can buy those dime a dozen almost.
Yeah.
So the dial showed up in a set. It was a bunch of Sea King dials. And so that Sea King, that whale that I've got, that's a new old stock dial from that same batch. And I got rid of a bunch of others. And I think I sold most of those for just about what I paid for it. So that sort of paid for itself. And I got two brand new dials for.
Didn't you sell all those in a lot to one guy who now sells them on eBay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't have that kind of time, man.
Yeah. I hear you.
I'm busy during the day.
I hear you.
So so speaking of which, I'm still trying to move the gold 666. I was having a conversation with somebody, and he's like, "Well, what are the dimensions?" So you show him what the dimensions are. You've got up my calipers. He's like, "Oh, it's too small." I'm like, "Really?" Because I got to throw a picture of it on my wrist, go through his Instagram feed, see what else he's got, and he's got not the chronograph A, but a similar. It's like, okay, here's the watch you've got, same case, different dial, but same case. Here's what it looks like. Here's what that watch looks like. Not that much of a difference, but all right.
Yeah, it's not a small case.
Yeah, teach their own.
Yeah. So he's not the one that bought it, though.
Oh, that was the snorkel. That was that part snorkel. Different watch. So I still got the.
Oh, you still have the gold.
I still have the gold. I got one.
Gotcha.
I got one left.
So you bought, how many came in that lot? Were there 3 or 4?
4.
There were 4.
4.
So you sent them all to me.
Yes.
We took the best of the worst, made one good watch for you.
Yes.
Okay. And then I took a watch, made best of the worst, and took that one. And then it left you with 2 left. One went to a good friend of ours.
Yes.
One you're trying to sell. Okay.
Yes.
So the one that I kept.
Yes.
I had, because one of them was different than all the other ones in that it was a gold dial.
One of these kids is doing his own thing.
Yep. Had a fat handset. Had a different shaped pylon seconds hand. Had different hour markers. It was just different in every way, but it was still similar enough that you
dial text was the same.
Line. Yeah.
Movement was the same. Case was the same. Case back was the same. But the dial was different and different color, right?
The case and case back were not the same.
Okay.
The dial, the handsets, all that I have came from the EPSA case.
Oh, okay.
The problem is I was going to keep the EPSA case because the whole package was really cool. It was different that particular one had the EPSA case. The problem was you have the movement, you have a movement ring, and there were remnants of what appeared to be an additional, almost like a rubber or a wax ring that went around the movement ring. Just the movement ring alone does not hold the movement in place. There's all kinds of play in there. There was something else that went around that to seal it into the case. It was very bizarre. Could not find anything to make it work. So I took that gold dial and all that kind of stuff, and I put it in one of the regular cases, and that's the one that I have. So fast forward, you sold one to the friend of ours. I was having a conversation with him, and he's like, yeah, this and that, blah, 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 blah. I said, the dial in the hands that I have came out of that case. So I know that you need this, that, and the other thing. He's like, well, what do you mean? I said, yeah. I said, we put the stuff together. We kind of took everything that we wanted to make stuff for ourselves, and everything was just going to go for sale. He says, well, if I would have known that, then I wouldn't have picked this one. I would have picked one of the other ones because you know me and I like originality. I said, okay, here's what I'll do for you. I will send you this watch. I said, the movement that's in it runs ish. It winds, it sets, all that. Doesn't keep the best time, but it's better than the one that you have. I said, this is all the stuff that belongs in that EPSA case. You can just have it. So I'll send it to you. You swap the stuff out. And I'm going to tell them to send you back the non-EPSA case with the non-EPSA dial and handset. So that way you can sell another one. Because I don't need two of the same thing. I wanted it because it was different from the one that I had. So I have to send him the one that I've got so he can swap the movement and dial back into the EPSA case. So that way it's a full, complete, original package because that's what he wanted. I'm like, I would just rather you have it. I'd rather it be in your collection all together because that's the way you want it to be. So I'm okay with that.
All
so
right.
the watch that I have that I pieced together is now going to him. So you'll have
So he can repiece it together?
So he can repiece it together. So you'll have another one that you can eventually sell. It's funny how this whole thing worked out. Because I think he was a little upset. He's like, man, well, I wish I would have known. I'm like, well, in fairness, Joe didn't know what I put together because
I had no idea.
Piece together and keep whatever you want. Okay, fine. So that's what I did. Like, had I known you were going to buy it, then I wouldn't have taken everything apart. I'm like, but I didn't know you were going to buy. I'm like, so I will just do right by you, and I'll send it to you. You can piece it together, have everything that's supposed to be as it is. So I enjoyed it for a few months. Now it's gonna go on.
Well, because it runs ish.
It runs ish. I mean, I wore it. It winds sort of, and it sets the time, and it it runs. But it's like most of those watches, they need service bad.
Yeah, they do. They do. That movement, that was the plastic spring set in there. So there's some tweaks that got to get done. At least for that run of it.
Talking about?
There was some. Dave was saying that there was a one of the levers was broken on like all of them. So
yeah, they're not plastic though. They're all AS2066 movements. Like every other movement that I have.
We fixed it. Mine's fine.
Yeah,
it's fantastic. I got to get a better bracelet for it.
Dave,
see if I can find another 99-cent bong clip.
Are you going to come on, Joe? You have to do it. Are you going to send it to be replated? You need to.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to. I might. I might.
You have wanted mine for so long, and it got to the point where we agreed on a price, and I was getting ready to sell it to you, and then these came up, so I didn't have to because I didn't want to sell it. I like it. Now we have the opportunity to have matching super rare gold 666 dress watches. And you need to get yours to looking like what mine does. You have to send it out.
I'm okay. I'm okay with how it is. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe.
They're even in the same state as you now.
Yeah. Maybe.
Killing me.
I mean, I'm more interested in the dial, making sure that the dial looks right than the case per se.
That dial, the hands, the dial, the hands, and the crystal and everything came out real nice on that.
Yeah, it did. It really did. And so I can look at it and ignore the case, and it's fine.
The largest piece of the watch, you're just going to ignore.
Laser like focus.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, you're funny.
So yeah.
You got any other stories?
Not really.
No.
Not really. I mean, the stuff I've got going on, just working through what's happening with the collection, working through with all the other bits and pieces, waiting to see what's going to happen next, seeing what new watches are showing up. Yeah,
next episode should be really cool. I'm looking forward to getting some of these other watches in. Hopefully that the new watch is here by then. Like I say, I don't know what's going to ship. Pre-order, you don't really know.
Curious.
Yeah.
Curious.
But it's cool. Something that I've wanted for a while. You could care less about it.
I don't
but you
care
have to admit, it's cool though.
Well, this is it's one of those benefits of having the collection that I have and having the focus that I have on my collection that doesn't have a 666 on the dial.
Care about anything.
Well, but it's also interesting because I can appreciate it for what it is. Like aesthetically, it's like, huh, that's nice. It's good for you. It's not for me. Cool.
But it's cool though for what it is. It's neat.
Sure.
You know, sometimes Joe, it's hard to enjoy stuff with my friend when he really doesn't care about it.
It's like beets.
Oh, okay.
It's like beets. My wife loves beets. She thinks they're fantastic. I cook beets for her. I got a great roasted beet recipe. Roast them up, slice them up. She loves it. Eats it with a spoon. I hate beets. I don't like beets. They do nothing for me except make my poop strange colors. Don't care for beets. It's okay. I don't have to like beets. You like beets. I will cook beets. I won't eat them, but
strangest analogy ever.
Everything's not for everybody, you know. It's
no, I know.
That's just how it is, and the bigger part of that though is like if you can recognize it. It's like, oh, I really want to like that, and I don't, but I think I need to buy it because it's an important part of the collection to do that.
No. The important part, at least from my end, is that I know I have to start the conversation with, and I did in this particular instance. I know this is not your thing, but look what I just bought.
Yes. And I believe my response is, that's cool. Good for you.
Yeah.
Your action completed.
Anyways, any last calls?
No last calls. No last calls. Off to a concert tonight. Going to a festival up in Pasadena, adjacent to the Rose Bowl. Not The Cure.
No, okay.
Not The Cure. Going to see LCD Sound System, Idols.
Oh, man, it's like what the kids would say, old music.
Kinda, except that there's a bunch of other more new. There's a bunch of people I don't know, so that leads me to believe that's maybe a little newer and hipper than my gray facial hair would understand.
You know, a couple of years ago, I went to a Foo Fighters concert.
Yeah,
and it was one of the best shows I've ever been to. It was like the greatest hits of Foo Fighters. They played a couple of new songs, but it was every song you wanted to hear from them. They played it. Fantastic concert. Went on for hours.
Perfect.
Everybody had gray hair. It was all the aging hipsters were at this show. I just found that hilarious.
So my wife's been going to a bunch of different shows. We've been on this big concert binge, and she's been able to go to some shows that I haven't been able to, which is, you know, it's all right because our tastes are similar, but they diverge. So like Mike was saying, she went to the Cure show. She went to see Sisters of Mercy. She went to see Iggy Pop. She went to see.
You passed on Iggy Pop?
I wasn't invited to Iggy Pop. I didn't pass on Iggy Pop. Okay. She was invited, and it's like, oh, I don't know if I can go. I'm like, are you serious? Because like if you're not going, I'm going. I'll go see Iggy Pop without question. So, but the audience that has been going to a lot of these, and these are kind of, you know, getting into the gothic scene. She and I went to go see KMFDM as well. So right, it's been a couple of months, and it's that same. We're looking at what your demographic is. I'm like, oh, hey, these people were really, really into this music 20 years ago. They are trying to wear the same clothes that they wore 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Spandex is forgiving, but time is not. And there were a couple of moments you're like, oh, wow, you're going to have trouble taking that off at the end of the night, and it's going to leave a mark. Oh, the people watching has been extraordinary. That's all I'm going to say. So
fantastic.
Yeah.
Gotta love getting older.
No, but it does make it easier to leave the concert before the encores go. It's like, I gotta go
Well,
home.
that's the thing, right? You go to these concerts geared towards an audience of people our age. Did the shows end earlier?
One would certainly hope.
You would think, right?
Like, I got stuff to do
Like,
tomorrow.
Know your audience.
Right.
this show
Concert,
is not going to go
doors
till 1
are
a.m.
at 7, concert starts at 8. It's like, no, doors should be at 4, concert starts at 5. We're going to be home by 8.
Yeah,
so we can watch reruns of Law and Order and put on pain patches.
Oh gosh. I hope everybody enjoyed Storytime with Mike and Joe.
Storytime.
Yeah. The sultry sounds of our voices. Rapping on about watches and where they came from, why we have them, and other things.
Yeah, don't do that. The sultry sound of, by the way. Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
I might be one of those voiceovers for a romantic novels.
I don't think
with the
so.
audiobooks.
I don't think so.
He opened the door slowly. She turned around and gasped. No, you think?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna cut you off right there. So we are the Spring Bar Podcast. You can find us on Instagram at the Spring Bar Podcast. You can email us at the Spring Bar Podcast at gmail.com. And I am Watch Taylor Youth. Wall one word, Watch Taylor Youth. Mike?
You hated that so much that you just decided to butcher that whole ending.
I'm cutting you off. You're done.
I am 120 clicks, all spelled out. One long word, 120 clicks.
I'm trying to think of what a good addition of what picture we should show to have Mike do a voiceover of your. I don't know. I got nothing.
What are we asking for? What should we do?
I don't know. You already got to show the picture of me and the dog. So
yeah, I gotta go do that. Dog picture. Anything. Tag us in something. We're easy this week. All right. Until next time, when nobody wants to hear my sultry sounds.
True. Cheers.
Cheers.